At the announced starting time of the sprint review, the Scrum team files into Globomantic's conference room. While everyone is a bit nervous to see that several high-ranking members of the organization have chosen to attend their first sprint review, the brief time that they invested that morning in identifying the specific items that will be presented and creating a supporting agenda helps to put their minds at ease. As planned, Dave steps to the front of the room and begins to address those in attendance. Thank you for attending our first sprint review. We've done some great work this sprint and we're excited to hear your feedback. Our goal for this sprint was to provide more export options for our profit and loss report, which was in response to recent movements that we've seen from many of our smaller competitors who have been touting data portability as a key differentiator of their products. Therefore, the result of this product increment was various pieces of new functionality that would aid our customers in exporting their profit and loss data in various formats for easier interaction with third-party applications, such as tax preparation software. While any feedback is welcome, some of the feedback that we're particularly interested in, given our sprint goal, is are we exporting the right amount of data? For example, should we make more data available, or even less? And since these exports are not intended to be features that are used on a daily basis, we've moved them to secondary locations within the product's navigation menus. Is this the right choice, or do we need to consider ways to make them more discoverable? And finally, we've strove to choose formats that would provide the widest range of compatibility without implying favor towards any specific third-party product. Do you agree that the formats that we've chosen make sense strategically in our industry, or are there other formats that we should also be considering? To get started, I would like to invite Priyanka to the front of the room to present our first item for review. Priyanka steps to the front of the room and sits down at Dave's laptop, which has already been connected to the room's projector. The first item that we'd like to present today is the Export to CSV feature of the Profit and Loss Report. As Priyanka demonstrates the export feature, Ben, the Director of Product Management, raises his hand. I notice that in addition to a column for net profit, you're also exporting a column for taxable profit. I'm concerned that since the goal of this feature is to allow easier interaction with third-party tax accounting products, that there's a good chance that our definition of taxable profit will likely vary from their definition of taxable profit, which could lead to a discrepancy in the overall amount. Taxable profit is a complicated subject, and a lot of variables can affect it. Since taxation has never been a core capability of our product, should we simply drop this column to avoid any possible questions raised by those discrepancies? That's a very good point, Dave answers. We'll want to evaluate the impact of removing that column on any additional compatibility features that we have planned for later in this release, but it's something that we'll definitely consider. As Ben nods in agreement, Jim, the Director of Regional Sales, raises his hand. I noticed that you needed to go down 2 levels of submenus to locate this feature. If our current lack of this feature is truly a point that our competitors are using against us in the market, then shouldn't we make this feature front and center on the main toolbar in response? Good question, says Dave. When we evaluated where we should place the menu item for this feature, we wanted to bear in mind how often it would be used. As I mentioned earlier, this is not a feature that we expect most of our users to use day to day. In fact, even our most advanced users will only use the feature quarterly when preparing their quarterly tax returns. On the other hand, there are several other features of our product that are used by our users on a daily basis, such as the ability to categorize transactions. Our product's lightweight UI and resulting ease of use has always been our strongest selling point against our competitors. So we wanted to be sure that we didn't sacrifice our own differentiator in an attempt to close a few gaps. After the attendees have finished discussing the Export to CSV feature, the team moves on to the remaining items completed in the sprint.